Greetings and welcome to this edition of
Positronic.
I'm Barry P. Cook. Let's talk about the latest episode of Supergirl. It was called Magical Thinking. And it starts off where we see that Kara is very upset about Nixley still being on the loose. And she's told by, I think it was Alex, that Brainiac is scanning for her from the Legion ship. Lana and Dreamer decide to team up, see if between them they can find a way to bridge Lena's science capabilities and science knowledge with her apparent magic abilities and see if that can be any help in tracking down and or defeating Nixley. Kara's reporter friend William is welcome to the tower where he's been embedded by the newspaper to cover the Super Friends. And he learns that John is the Martian Manhunter and that Alex works with him. But he's told that he can't go asking into the other Super Friends members' identities. Nixley acquires the humanity totem from a guy in an arena and ends up releasing its energy in order to blast Supergirl, only to have it affect all of the arena patrons or people who are in the arena, who then fight with each other, after which they spill out to the street from the arena, and general rioting starts to take place. William talks with Supergirl about disclosing the whole Neelix situation to the public, because up to now, the team has kind of kept it secret. They've been explaining the events that Nixley has been perpetrating in other ways. But Supergirl urges him not to do that because it would panic people. But simultaneously, or shortly thereafter, I should say, his boss urges him to do the exact opposite while holding his job over his head, pretty much. So he was kind of put in a situation there. Meanwhile, Nixley learns that the next totem she's looking for is at The Hague, which is kind of weird. William has a chat with a self-doubting Lena, who had previously messed up a formula that she was trying to make in order to counter the effects of the humanity totem. And he explains to her how he learned to become a baker in his own right by not following his father's recipes so closely, which I guess he originally had tried to do, but then he learned he couldn't really do that. And it helped him become a baker in his own right, which doesn't make any sense, seeing as he ended up becoming a reporter professionally. And there's, what's this baker thing? I don't know, but that scene happened. Lena is then able to get the correct ingredients for the potion that she was trying to use, but it still backfires, making everyone even more bonkers. But it does make Nixley unable to kill a guard at The Hague in her pursuit of the totem, when all of their humanity that left them because of the totem pours into her, which Kara figures out, and she wants Lena to make it happen again so that she'll be forced to give up the humanity totem when she can't handle all of the emotions, which Lena talks her out of, or tries to talk her out of, by explaining how she doesn't want to hurt people with magic like her mother did. And Supergirl realizes that she's right, but they then both agree to do it anyway, which I didn't really get, and to also let the public know what's going on, even though they had thought that wouldn't be a good idea earlier, so that the public can judge the team's actions for themselves. I don't really know why this aspect was even a thing. It doesn't seem to have had any impact on the story, but anyway, Nixley does indeed become overwhelmed with, with humanity, with feelings about stuff, and she does in fact release the totem, returning everyone's humanity back to them, as Supergirl collects the totem, after which the team decides to chase down the dream totem. During all of this, the little alien girl from the couple of previous episodes that had been adopted by a foster family discovers that she has fire-breathing abilities, and it freaks out the foster family, who decide to put her back in the system, at which point, without saying a word to each other, Alex and Kelly decide to adopt her. It was a pretty cool scene as a standalone scene in terms of television and in terms of the relationship of the characters, because we know that Alex has always wanted kids, or has for a long time anyway. And this was just a scene where Kelly's instinct to protect a child and do the right thing for a child and not let the child be another cog in the wheel of the system, meshed perfectly with Alex's desire to want to be a mother. This was just a perfect meshing of those desires on each of their parts. And they sort of realized at the same time that that's what they wanted to do. And the audience is conveyed this information by a way of the characters exchanging sort of knowing looks and walking towards the camera with the little girl. So that's pretty much it. I want to say again that the actress who plays Nixley is great. The character Nixley is great. She's the best villain that the series has ever had, really. And arguably one of the top 3 or 4 villains throughout the whole CW verse. You know, people will point to Lex Luthor. Yeah, Lex Luthor's iconic. And John Cryer was an excellent Luthor, but, you know, Luthor's kind of old hat and sort of one-dimensional and about as deep as a damp sponge. So a not terribly compelling character, at least not in the CW. Whereas Nixley is multi-layered and, you know, multi-dimensional and clearly has feelings. And you can tell, I've said this last week, you can tell that the character is in pain. And you can tell that she is capable of love. So I think it's a great character, and the actress does a really good job. So I'm kind of glad that this character has been made the focus of the latter half of the season, and I look forward to the rest of the episodes with her and the resolution of the Nixley plotline. But that's really all I wanted to say about this episode. I'll be back after next week with a review of the coming episode. Until then, I wish you all peace and long life.